10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to Dax Chats. In this episode, we're heading off to Canada. I'm speaking to a man who's been around for a while. He's been in bands such as High Noon and Transit, and he's made his name in those bands, and he's been performing for quite some time, but he's decided to come out and go solo, and he's brought out a couple of singles over the last couple of years. There was one called colloquially called Kiss You, and there was another one called I Now Know in 2019. Well, he's also just brought out a new single this year called Summer Days. Today, Dax chats to Dan Badger, and here he is. That side.
Hey, Dax.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. So tell us a bit of the history of Dan Badger. I mean, I've just said some of it, but you could elaborate on that a bit more.
I don't know. I think you summed it up beautifully. You know what? I've always been a music fan and whatnot. And of course, like many artists, I started off playing in cover bands, and pretty much since day two, I've been kind of the band manager and kind of doing the bookings and the books and just making all the arrangements, and I kind of transpired from that into other bands. I've joined other bands. I've kind of started other bands, and just kept going. And I have had a pretty successful career with a long list of friends along the way, and it's been pretty awesome.
So you've decided to take it solo, but over the course of the last 3 years, you've only sort of brought out one or two singles a year. Is it a progression that's slowly getting towards something?
No, I think the lifespan of a song here in Canada. I mean, as far as a radio release, it is 2 to 3 months. I probably could be releasing them a little bit quicker, but I'm trying to be strategic with my releases and the time of year. I kind of got set back a little bit with COVID. I have another release that's ready to go. I'm just trying to see what we do with that one, because COVID's played it's impacted your radio airplay as well as your live performances and everything else. It's a little bit harder to get your stuff out there. Let me rephrase that. It's not hard. It's not hard to get your stuff out there, but it's really difficult to get major radio support as an independent, because the recording artists have had nothing but time to get some new material done too. So you want to be able to time it properly.
So yeah, I guess with my radio stations, it's a little bit different. We play, what the people want to hear, and that's why we do the Country Thunder 20 charts, the North American charts, the Australian charts, and the international chart. And so the high rotation that we have is all fan voted. So whatever the fans want to hear is what we play the most. And you've been on those charts.
Well, you know what? I really appreciate it, because it's the support of getting out to a much broader audience, and really and truly, I mean, we want, as the artists, we all want to make the major radio stations, but it's the smaller ones that really support us. It's the smaller ones that really help us get our name out there, and that's really in the end what matters. But it's nice if you can make both of those work at the same time.
It would be nice. It would be nice. I'd like that. I think my last single in Australia got downloaded by 157 radio stations in Australia, which is not bad. But they're all community radio stations. There's no mainstream. And it's very difficult to get on the mainstream radio station. So I understand from an independent artist's point of view, because I've been there and I've done that as well.
Yeah, it's but you know what? It doesn't, to me. It doesn't matter. I really, again, I appreciate the support, no matter who it is. I and my fan base really, they help push my stuff to to the top of the charts as often as they can. So what more can you ask for than that, right?
That's right. That's right. And obviously, when we've got, we're obviously an internet radio station that just doesn't stay in Canada. It goes out across the world. So we've got people listening in Canada, of course, but we've got people listening in about 60 countries around the world as well. So your music's actually getting out across the world, which is bringing more fans in from other places that you wouldn't have normally expected.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm not sure if you're familiar with Rick Barker. He used to be um, Taylor Swift's original manager, and he does a lot of podcasts and stuff like that. And he made a very valid point. He asked a bunch of people. He says, "You know what? Go out and do a Facebook Live." And this was years ago. This was before everybody was stuck in their house. He said, do a Facebook Live. He says, and you tell me how many people. He says, watch your Facebook Live video in 24 hours. And he says, I'll guarantee you that's more people that are going to hear your music because of radio airplay or any of that stuff, or a live performance that you're going to get in 24 hours anywhere else. And you know what? It's pretty true.
It is true. It is true. We do these Dax Chats almost every day right now, so we get the artists out there, so talk to us about the new track. Obviously, you did have some tracks in 2018 and 2019, but the new track that we are playing on the Country Thunder Network is called Summer Days. Talk us through the track.
Well, Summer Days is actually a song I wrote 15, 17 years ago. And it kind of sat on the shelf. I mean, I didn't pursue a recording career till about 4 years ago. Is when I started to embark on this whole recording thing. So it sat on the shelf, and it was a well-written song. But it lacked something in today's kind of musical tastes, I guess. It sounded a little more like a 90s country song versus something you hear on a new radio right now. And it's very much about my childhood, actually. So I was born in Quebec, and I moved to Ontario when I was 4 years old. My mom was in an accident, and my dad was working in Ontario, and she passed away. So I moved to Ontario. I spent all my summers with my cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents and stuff down in Quebec. So I really took my growing up down there, out on a farm in hay fields, and going down to the town pool and having ice cream and just different things like that, and a lot of that homey stuff that influenced me as a kid kind of came out in that song. And it says there's a line in there. It says, George and I baling the hay. Well, that's my uncle George and I. And so I sat down with the gentleman that I had a co-write, and we were looking to. He was looking to produce my next stuff, and he's a dear friend of mine. His name is Darcy John. Um, he's Canadian. He's currently stuck, stranded, and playing on Broadway in Nashville. And he's also an artist himself. But we, as we were co-writing a different song, I said I really want to do something with this song, and I played it for him, and so we started working on that one, and revamped it just a little bit, and we Darcy worked some magic on it. We changed just a few of the lines, not too much, and we've got a great feel to the song, and so Darcy helped me co-write the newer version of this. He played guitar on it. He produced it, and really, really happy with the outcome of Summer Days.
Absolutely should be. It's a bloody brilliant song. When we first heard it, it was like, yep, that's got to go in our playlist. That's it.
So,
and your
Darcy says there has to be a girl in here. He's like,
yeah. But your fans have stepped up, and they've taken onto it because, as I said, our charts are fan voted, and they've really responded to it, and they've put you into the North American countries under 20 charts and the international charts with that track. So congratulations for that.
Yeah, well, I also there's a Canadian indie chart that I hit number 3 on that one out of the top 100.
I did see that, yes.
And it has been it's been my strongest performance song for Spotify and iTunes and all that as well. So.
And people now looking at your earlier stuff, now that they've heard this song, are they going back, and is your earlier stuff getting more streams now? Because I did exactly the same thing. I listened to Summer Days. It was great. And I looked you up, and then I went and listened to I Now Know, and I think, oh, that's a great song too. I like that song.
Yeah. Actually, again, very fortunate. So I've penned all of my songs that I've recorded so far. And then they've all been revisited by a co-writer. And I've been very fortunate. The first 3 songs, so I Want to Kiss You, Free Falling in Love, and I Know Now, they were all co-written with Jamie Warren. Jamie is one of Canada's most highly decorated independent artists, with different Junos, and he's just a great guy, and really he's just really talented, and he helped me kind of massage those songs and bring them to life as well.
Well, they are. Well, I've listened to 2 of them. I have to go and listen to the other one. Don't worry, I will. So now, obviously, this year has been a struggle with this pandemic. I believe Canada is talking about a second wave, which is not nice to hear. But as things cool down, that's pretty much what I'm expecting to happen here as well. What's on the horizon for you in such a tumultuous year?
Not much. 2021's looking good if I can keep my gigs. You know what? I've really been kind of just bunkering down. I've had a few gigs, occasional gigs. Nothing much, nothing too fancy. Obviously, it's mostly solo work, not band work.
Yep.
But it'll be, you know what? Winter's coming here. It'll be just bunker down, get some writing in, maybe get some studio stuff done, and just hope for a bigger and better 2021.
Yeah.
But I think we're in for a ride, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, they keep saying that this second wave is coming. Population's a big part of that.
Mm.
Here in Ontario, Canada, we've been on the rise lately, but the numbers are still like 500 and 600 people in a whole province. So,
yep.
Is it manageable? Time will tell.
Well, that's I get that to a point. When we because I think the same thing. But I'm in China and we've got a population of 1.4 billion people throughout all of China, and when they show us the new cases every day, it's 10 and 11, and we're like, well, that's nothing. Don't worry about it. It's all good. No problem. But how quickly can that blow up? Like that's one thing you have to worry about. Like in Australia and Victoria, they had next to no cases, and then suddenly something happened at a quarantine hotel, and it blew out to families, friends, and went, and then it was hundreds of cases a day. So it only takes a minute incident to happen for it to blow out of proportion. So when we think 600 in a province, that's pretty huge compared to 11 in a whole country of 1.4 billion people. So, but I still think that it's going to be a nasty winter for us. I think it's going to come back. It's going to hurt us bigger than the first time round. And I'm scared. I'm absolutely scared. I don't go out much as it is. I sit in my studio.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do that. My son is at home with me. My wife goes out to work. I make her wear a mask. I say, look, just don't go on the street without wearing a mask, because you just don't know who's next to you, who's got it. So it's a strange world we're in.
Well, and face coverings are mandatory here. I don't like it.
No.
It bothers me. It's uncomfortable. It's but I'm doing my part. I'm washing my hands. I'm sanitizing. I'm wearing the masks when I need to, and all that stuff. And again, like I said, I don't want to, but I mean it. I find it very, very frustrating. Seeing. And I understand that some people have medical conditions, and that's why they're not wearing a mask and whatnot. But I know there's a lot of people that are just not doing it for arrogance and pride, or trying to show off. I don't know, but you know what? It's slowing me down from doing what I love. So put on your damn mask.
That's it. So last question. Do you see, you said you have something new in the pipeline, but you're holding off. Do you see that it would be beneficial to release that to radio and get that out there to keep the momentum flowing while we're in this lull period?
So I'm only familiar with radio in Canada, and again, I haven't been at it all that long. But in Canada, the way radio works is we have, depending on the station, somewhere between 20 to 40 slots per station, and even though they have 20 to 40 slots, they're only mandated to play 25% Canadian content.
Goodness.
So on 20 songs, you're allowed to play 5 Canadian songs. And that's not independent songs, that's Canadian in total.
Oh, good.
So you're going toe to toe with, well, we were talking about Gord Bamford, Dallas Smith, Dean Brody,
Washboard Union,
Aaron Goodvin. Megan Patrick.
3 claws.
You know, so now all of a sudden, you know, that those 5 slots are pretty hard to hit. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to that and that. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure, you know, and nobody talks. You can't call up Dean Brody or, you know, hey, when are you releasing a single?
Yep.
You know, I'm just trying to plan mine out. There used to be a point in time where Canadian radio was hurting for good Canadian content. That's not the case. It doesn't matter anymore if it's independent or coming from the record labels. There is so much good music coming out right now that
Absolutely.
Sometimes it isn't necessarily the best song that wins. It's just timing. You know, so so like you said, you got to kind of keep on the momentum and keep building on that. So I'm trying to, I guess where I'm going with my next single right now is I'm trying to decide if I'm going to try to pursue actually trying to release it to radio, which is a significant investment in getting it out to the radio and stuff, or if I might just release it as a digital release and, you know, make a go of the internet and hope for the best that way.
Hey, you can send it. You can send it
I
to me.
I got some time.
You can send it to me, and I'll put it on the radio station straight away. There you go, no problem. And then your fans can vote.
No, absolutely.
We work differently to the Canadian.
So anyway, I figure I've got some time off next week, and I'm gonna kind of sit and weigh the options. I'll probably have a decision soon. So I'm gonna say one way or another, Dax, you, my friend, are gonna have some new Dan Badger music coming your way.
Absolutely fantastic, and I know what you feel, you know, when it comes to all that, because in Australia even it happens, like even when it comes to releasing music, whether it whether it go to radio or not, whether it's just digital release or album releases. And one of the artists in Australia actually asked his record label, he's a mainstream artist, he asked his record label to move his album release 1 week forward, which was a huge undertaking, because you have to go to all the record stores and change dates and everything, that, you know, change airplay times, airplay dates. There was a whole heap of stuff that went on in the background, because Travis Collins wanted to release his album 1 week previous to the release date that he had set, because Luke Bryan was releasing his album on the same day, and they just wanted that chart momentum. They wanted that thing, and if Luke Bryan had jumped in, Travis Collins wouldn't have had any chart success on the day. So
Yep.
So it happened.
See, there's Luke Bryan just not being considerate to the little guy.
Yeah, that's right.
He should have had one margarita more.
Knocked on some boots. Oh my God. Yeah. I understand it's a hard industry, and with so many artists out there, it's, as you know, independent or mainstream, it doesn't matter. It's a fight to get recognized in the scope of things. It's just crazy.
It is, but I want to stop you there. That's one thing that I really try to break down these barriers. I don't like the word fight, because that's something that I find everybody thinks that they're fighting for that next slot, and I know, like, that's kind of exactly what I'm saying. Is it's hard to get that slot, and yes, it is a fight, but I hate the word fight, because too many people in this industry are fighting for that spot, or they're fighting for that live spot, and you know what? We need to stop. We need to, as artists, we need to stop fighting.
Yep.
We need to help promote the next person, because what happens when you play my song? What happens after that? You have to play another song.
Yep.
There's always room for one more person. There's always room for, and I really I do everything I can to help get other artists, out and about. In fact, some recent Canadians that came your way was because I went, hey, you need to get your song on this chart. So I messaged Tanya Ribeiro
Yep.
and Scott Howarth band.
Yep.
I sent them your way, and a few others. I don't know if they submitted their music or not, but I mean, it's we need to lift each other up. We need to help each other. We can't be fighting for that slot. We need to find a way to increase that percentage on Canada radio from 25% to something higher.
Well, yeah, for sure, absolutely, and that goes with every radio station in any country. Like Australia, the mainstream radio stations are the same, 25% Australian content. Then it's all US stuff.
Yeah.
Canadian stuff is just starting to slip into Australian radio, as far as the mainstream radio stations. So you've got your Tim Hicks, you've got your, Dean Brody, you've got, those artists are starting to slip in, but the independents are not slipping into that category. And that's why this station is all about, yes, we play mainstream music, but we play mainstream music at a certain time of day. That's it. Most of it's all independent.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's been a wonderful time talking to you, and I wish you all the best with what's coming. And I know that you will obviously send me the new track as soon as you've made your decision on what you're going to do. So I look forward to hearing that. So thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Dax. It was a pleasure. And I hope we can do this again soon.
We will. Don't you worry about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dan Badger. His latest track that is playing on the Country Thunder Network is called Summer Days. You can get it on audio streaming platforms, of course. You can download it from iTunes. You can download it from Google Play, Amazon, all of those places. Or you can go to this website right here, countrythunder.com.au, and you can find it on the player. You can request a song straight from the player on the webpage. And what's more, you can vote for it in the Country Thunder 20. The form is at the top of the page. You've been watching Dax Chats. I'm your host, DJ Dax, and we're proudly supported by Neon Horse in Stanhope, Victoria. Bye for now.